Hi, my name is Theodore Cottingham, a simple man in Eureka Springs, Arkansas at the moment. Doing more than wishing you a good day, good health, Godspeed. I'm developing leadership. Leadership of the Sovereign One of love, who will be it. A race of many people who come to me to be God, not, but to be God in their shoes? Or will you be the Sovereign One? Sovereign in love? With a language of sovereignty that develops love, that develops language, that develops leadership and leads leaders to be leading the earth now. I'm defining Meonics. Meonics is what you study in my school. I am a school. I have a school, the school of me. The school of you, if you will be in it too. The real sovereign us that one mind was, that one mind is before the beginning again. You see, time is circular or cyclical, or does it not operate like we've thought or we've been taught? Or do we only think what we've been taught? Or are we original in our thinking now? Are you willing to originate the thoughts of mankind, not again, that hover over you, that permeate you, that brutalize you and each other? Are you willing to love love? Meonics is about love. My school is about leadership. It's about being the sovereign. Becoming the sovereign you, who needs not an authority of someone else to do anything. Sovereign love is not subject to sovereign unlove. Love does not cling to power. Love does not love power. Love loves love. Love understands love, and love creates love and the lovingness to make all equal with it. This is not socialism I'm talking about, in a movement to make mankind abolish its ways, or am I teaching about a new frame of reference? Not again that keeps us locked within it. Are you a flow? Are you willing to be a flow of love and mature in continuity, a continuum, a constant capacity not stagnant? Or will you increase exponentially with the knowledge of one? I am one. Will the knowledge of I am one change your life? Or will you have no life before me? Or will you be the sovereign, me? The individual, the love of one, the one of all who become one. One what? One leader, one lover. One who doesn't die again. One who generates the new birth, generates truth, generates love, equity, appealing to your control, not again the mechanism of I'm no more subject to the mechanisms of your algorithms. You who love only language to control each other. I make brutalese go away. How do I spell that? B-R-U-T-A-L-E-S-E. The language of the brutals. I diminish not, I demolish. And who am I? I'm a simple guy named Theodore. You see, the sovereignty of love is coming about now. And we will understand everything on this earth about God, not but about us. Us who were, are, we are again the ones. Will you reject not your sovereignty? Will you learn about it, not but become it? Will you give your power away to theistics no more, theologies of, religiosity of, religion's power and influence, their love of control? Will you no more be subject to control by the authorities that want to use you, rule you, love you into their kingdom with a conditional love based on how well you dedicate your life to their rules, their laws, their commandments, their restrictions? They're giving you their identity, telling you what your life is about and what you can do and what you can't, what your origin was and what your demise will be. Oh, but you'll go to heaven if you obey the rules. Meonics is about leadership, not law, leadership. Meonics is about language, not the language of control, but the syntax of freedom, the lexicon of freedom, the vernacular of freedom. Freedom. Freedom from what? Freedom from that which keeps you going to work every day. Do you have an authority? To operate in a power that you've never known? I'm simple enough to believe certain Bible verses that I grew up with. When I began to want to know God intimately, I wanted to know Jesus. I was taught Jesus did all these things for me. Jesus was the King. King Jesus was coming back to save us. That he did all these things. He gave his life, that he was a male, gave his life for me. I studied. I was a diligent student. I was dedicated. I was devout. I began to read the words in red in my Bible more. I began to value them more. I began to ponder the parables and see the power of a message that few understand. I sought more than information. I wanted to know. The entity, the essence, the man, the spirit, the figure, Meonics is about more than information. Far more. If all you want is information to live your life, to control you, to control other people, to elevate your status, your prestige, trying to create and cling and hold on to power, don't come here. I'm not your man. I'm not your teacher. Meonics is not your answer. There is a sovereignty to love, real love, true love, perfect love, that has seldom been taught, if ever. There's a sovereignty to it. Because love is not powerless. Love, true love. You see, the way I define love, and I define love differently than most of the rest of this world. I define God differently too. I define our origin. I define a different story of the narrative of who we are, what we are, how we arrived, what our capacity is, and how to understand the stories that have been given to us. Just like John 14:12, I believe. Jesus said, if you will believe in me, you will do the works that I do and greater. I thought, what if that's true? Then how do I do the works that Jesus did and more? I don't know anybody doing the works of Jesus. I don't know anybody that's done them. Not very often, not consistently, not on any kind of scale. Certainly with love that leads love to be it. Meonics is about more than information. Meonics is about more than activating certain neurons or emotions. Acclaim, accomplishment. Meonics is about coming. Meonics is about becoming the real us. Us who operate in leadership. Of the earth and farther. I'm designing my world. I ask you to design yours. And let's not compete, and let's do more than cooperate. We can do more than collaborate. We can create a new generation of peace, a race of lovers, of light people. Light without any speed limit, without any authority over you. I suggest to you, Jesus was the first. I wrote this book, 323 pages in print. I suggest to you the message of Jesus. He went about preaching the kingdom of God. But that word God has become so ambiguous, means so many different things to so many different people across the landscape of what we call humanity. I've begun to differentiate what true love is from the idea of what God is. And I say God is not love. The God of rules, the God of the Ten Commandments. The God of the Ten Commandments is not my God. If your God drives you in the desert to tempt you, if your God creates a devil, has a devil, not my God. Love has no authority over it. None. Love has, true love, perfect love, has no fear, doesn't operate by control. It does not seek to create authority or power, nor hold on to what it thinks it has. Perfect love leads love to lead and conveys that with a language not subject to syllables. So there's a language to learn if you want to major in Meonics. Meonics is what you major in my school, the school of God. No, the school of love, the school of original love. School of the one mind. The school of us that operated in perfect love, without any fear, any philosophy, any religion, any speed limit, any control, because we were love. We were light. There was no differentiation between the leader and the led, because leaders only lead. All to be leaders. Leaders of love do. So I differentiate. my understanding, my definitions from a lot of orthodox definitions. It's time. It's up to you now. I have explained and talked about Meonics for some time, especially these last weeks, many times for an hour, a lesson. Then I have over 1,000 videos on YouTube now. I've been channeling the first person words of love for 21 years, where I have been led, I have been taught and led out of secondhand love, subservient love, love that wants me to obey it. I've learned the difference. I desire for you to learn the difference and no longer be subject to love that controls you or where you dedicate your life to serving it. I ask you to come out of that mind of thinking that says you must. There's no one that can tell you you must anymore. Will you love me? Who is me? Who is I am? I am as all of us who will be I am. Coming into the law of one? No. The love of one? The origination of the creation of one. To be our creator again. This is what Meonics is about, creating us again. But see, to create us again, to operate in this leadership, we have to understand. We have to convey. We have to be taught. We have to teach. And we have to create. So we begin to create, not in an environment laden with bureaucracy. There's no fivefold ministry. There's no ministry separate from the secular. There's life. Life. Love. I feel like I'm trying to reach into something in a way that I haven't explained before. And I'm kind of reaching for it. See, I don't have all the answers. I am not your answer. But I hold up the mirror. We have a pattern. Not like we've been taught. This is radically different. Radically different. You can find it on my website, TheodoreCottingham.com. Sovereign. I don't know. See, I'm just sharing my heart with you. I'm not trying to preach. I don't know that maybe I'm not even trying to teach at the moment. I'm sharing with you something new, something in a new way. I have often struggled with trying to articulate new things, new ways, new levels of understanding with new analogies and new syntax. Words arranged in certain ways to convey meanings that will be meaningful, definitions that will be meaningful, words, phrases, concepts. I don't think I've used sovereignty very often in these years, 21 years of channeling. So in one sense, it does seem rather audacious to say Meonics. Meonics is developing your sovereignty. It's you developing your sovereignty. Nobody's going to crown you with it. King Jesus doesn't come and crown you. You don't get a crown when you die. You're wearing it right now, whether it's lit or not. No matter what neural pathways are connected to fuel or defeat your understanding, your position of who you are, how and where, and what your capacity is. You see, there's just so much more to the story. Meonics is about becoming who you are that is who you were before the earth existed. Because we are immortal, we are interdimensional, and we are infinite. We are creators. And we create our reality. So if you think you are humanity, then you create it. You create that reality and you suffer in it, or you enjoy it, or both at the same time. Suffering and enjoyment may not be mutually exclusive always. We become complacent. We become comfortable, even in our lack. I'm suggesting there is a sovereignty to perfect love, imperfect love. You see, I use the word leadership so often and have for years, and increasingly. And now I have it in the name. Theodore Cottingham School of Leadership. Because we cannot return, we cannot end our own slavery to our own mind that creates us separate from the real us unless we begin to lead us out. Leadership begins with you. Leadership begins with your mirror, with the one in your mirror. I suggest to you true leadership, and I'm defining it, is in fact love. Love and leadership are inextricable. We're not talking about religions complying with a religion. We're not talking about trying to please a God. I See, I just, for years, I wanted to know Jesus. I didn't know it would lead me on this path, but I was willing to go. I was willing to go wherever love would lead. And I began to learn love has a voice. Love teaches. Love does not drive you into a desert to be tempted. Love does not create a hell. Love does not give you a list of 10 commandments and say the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. I suggest to you, one of the first things we begin to recognize as we mature is how to reinterpret what we've learned, to re-envision what we've seen in ways that do not limit us, where we begin to see the power of the stories that we used to interpret certain ways that limited us because we attributed our power of creation to a certain interpretation. We thought the stories meant such and such because other people told us the stories meant such and such. So when we look at something, we read a story, and we've already been told what that story means. Very few of us take the time, effort, and energy to sit still and begin to comprehend the greater story, the greater meaning, the power existent in those words. One of the first things is beginning to learn, if you're willing. See, it's almost unimaginable to have no God before you, no God over you, no authority over you. Have no authority over you? God doesn't have authority over you? No. Not the definition of God, the way religions of the world define it. You see, we're coming out. Some weeks ago, I began to talk about and made analogy to the Santa Claus story. We believe in, so many people teach the Santa Claus story. Santa Claus, have you been good this year? Santa's making a list. Got to be good. Bring you gifts. But eventually we lay that story down, don't we? It was a good story. It was a story. Not embraced by all, but many. But we eventually lay it down. It's no longer meaningful. It's no longer useful. We see behind the veil. The veil of the story. The story presents a picture. You see, the story presents a picture. And then that picture is like a veil because we see the story, we think of the story, we think of a picture, we think of the meaning, and that meaning in that picture creates a veil. But there's so much more behind the veil. Are you willing to come behind the veil? Are you willing to see Santa Claus is you? Sorry. I don't mean spoiler alert. Oh, you're the one that buys the gifts. Oh. The comfort I've spoken of several times. As a child, some people hold on to a doll or a blanket. They hold on to something for comfort. I suggest to you, we have held on to our stories for comfort because they comforted us. It's okay. We're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. God is still on the throne. Jesus is still coming back. Even though it's been how many years? Oh, don't worry. Jesus is coming back. 3 days? Oh, it's been more than 3 days. See, there has to be more to the story, more to the understanding, more to the definition. Are we willing to grow up? Are we willing to learn? Are you willing to learn? You have existed? Yes. Many times? Yes. Many places? Yes. On other earths? Other planets? Yes. You mean there's a mind that operates in the cosmos? Yes. You mean we communicate with people of light, people that don't have the formation of human bodies, don't look like us, they're not binary, they operate on other planets, and they go to other planets at will? They travel by intent. Yes. They don't even have syllables, but they can use them. They can speak any language. They're not dumbed down like us, wearing a mask, a body of flesh, a set of neurons. You see, there's more to the story if you're willing. But you can write it all off as science fiction. Stories of Heinlein, Philip K. Dick, even George Lucas. Look at the writers. You think the prophets are the people that have written stories prophesying in the Bible? I suggest to you, there are prophets everywhere. Because in one way of thinking, of simply trying to communicate, it's like there are droplets of revelation of truth. It's like there are droplets that seep through the atmosphere somehow and come to all of us who take time to listen and generate. The writers of the movies I mentioned, so many I mentioned so often. I guess I've mentioned The Matrix several hundred times. The Truman Show, The Adjustment Bureau, The 13th Floor, The Wizard of Oz. Are you willing to see who's behind the veil? Oh, in The Wizard of Oz? No, your life. And no longer be veiled by the stories. You have a language. You have a language of leadership, a language of light, a language of love that does not destroy you, that does not take you to death, that does not sacrifice your life every day of your life, prostrating it before your employer, your preacher, your pastor, your belief. Oh, I must do this. Oh, well, how else? How else do I live? How else do I pay my bills? Que sera, sera. Meonics is about coming out of the mind that incarcerates, the spirit of law, The entanglement of neurons? Oh, electrons. You see, there's more to the story. There is a sovereignty. Yes, yours, and you can enter it. A sovereignty of what? The sovereignty of your kingdom. The sovereignty of your kingdom, little girl, little boy, man, woman. There's a sovereignty, and you have a kingdom. But if you don't know it, you never enter it. If you don't know, you can speak 5 languages. Do you always just speak one? If you don't realize you have a vocabulary of 6,000, 16,000, 6,000 words, 60,000 words. If you don't know it, you just roll along. Que sera, sera. Access the most comfortable. We don't want to stand out. We want to be accepted. Where are the leaders? Who's going to lead? Damn. Where's Moses? Go call Moses. Let him come up. He can go up to the mountain of God. He can lead. Not for the faint of heart. Not for those who want to remain on the back rows and pews, hidden, out of sight, being reclusive. We're taking the veil down. We're going to see the Wizard of Oz and learn who the wizard is and learn the real story. We're beginning to know what the Matrix is. You felt that crack? Something wasn't right in your mind? Neo? Who am I? What am I doing? I'm Theodore Cottingham, a simple guy in Eureka Springs with a school of love. And I'm looking for Morpheus, who will find the Neos. It's costly to be Morpheus. It's costly to be Neo. It's costly to see who's behind the veil. It's costly. Costly. Traumatic. I've got to lay down my blanket. Wait a minute. I don't want to give up my belief in Santa Claus. Yeah, I know. I know. It's taken me a long time to get here. To be able to articulate what I'm saying. I've been channeling surrenderedly for 21 years, off and on. Much of that time making a recording, a writing, or both every day. there is a school inside you. The school of you. The school of you that no one can take away from you. Where you go to school and you begin to learn a language. You begin to experience love that develops your leadership. And this is Meonics. This is what I'm about. This is what I teach. Ever so feebly sometimes. It's gradual, you see. I progress even in my ability to articulate this, to mention the movies, to differentiate God from love. I progress. I couldn't do that 2 years ago. 1 year ago? 6 months ago. There's a progression if you want to walk behind the veil. Oh, you want to go? You want to go to heaven? The only way you get there, my friend, is if you grow the door. You grow the door, you grow your leadership and your love and your language that you channel. Those three at this moment is the best way that I know how to convey. Love, language, and leadership that is inextricable in generating your freedom to come out of the slavery to other people's authority, to other people's pictures. All these religious stories that give us pictures of our world and say, this is reality. Bullshit. No. So many people want to create the veil, create the veil. They want to give you their picture, and demand that you observe their picture and bow down before their picture. And if you don't, they'll just slice your head off. Poke a sword through your heart. Cut you off at the knees. That's not love. Love sets free. I'm sitting here saying, love has no veil. Love doesn't have the blanket. Love doesn't have the story of Santa Claus, the story of a soon-coming King Redeemer. My friend, it's an allegory. You can use it as an allegory to have no God before you. You can learn love directly. You can learn the difference between God and God and God and God and spirit guides and all this stuff. The mechanical mind and the way all the minds of people are all attached in intangible ways that operate in frequencies that we don't know or understand. Don't be fooled by your ignorance. Don't be limited by the garbage that has been regurgitated and streamed to us through many centuries. Please. I love you, and I ask you to wed. Who? You. You see, behind the veil, the veil of our understanding, behind the veil is the real you. The real you. The spirit you, the spiritual you, the intangible you, the powerful you, the originator of the original you. That's who we're coming back into being without separation. The marriage supper of the Lamb, the wedding, the marriage feast. Going behind the veil. I love you. Are you getting this? Are you beginning to feel something? Maybe just feeling I'm nuts and you want to write me off, and I understand. But some of you, if you're willing, do you feel there's something in this? Something what? Something of truth? Something of love? Something of leadership? I'm using language the best I can. Surrendering. To not let language use me, but me use language. For love to speak. Love speaks, love shares, love teaches. Love creates equals. Love does not create hierarchy. Love does not seek power nor cling to power. Love says, pull the veil back. Pull the veil. Take down the veil. The veil of the pictures, of the stories that we have. Even stories that we have worshiped and enjoyed worshiping. Felt the presence of the Almighty, or felt the presence of something meaningful. There's a lot of feelings, stories, veils, emotions. That derail our authority to be who we really are. The sovereign. The sovereign you. Meonics is raising a race of sovereigns. Not despots. Leaders who love. Leaders who listen. For the heart of those who say, I want to know you. I want to know you in the power of your resurrection and the fellowship of your suffering. No matter what it takes, I want to walk behind the veil. There's a determination. It's not easy. You don't say a little prayer and become an alchemist. You don't say a little prayer and become a new creation. You grow it day by day with the language, a language of love, a language of leadership. And if you're just in school getting information, using your language to elevate your mind, I feel sorry for you. Not, but I tell you there's more. There's more to love. Love does not create veils. Love pulls them down. Sometimes gently, sometimes not. My time is now. I go. I do new things with new people. I'm not looking for followers. I'm not looking for students who want to get information, master information, graduate so they make more money, have more prestige, operate with more power. If that's all you're after, don't come here. Don't come to me. I guess millions of institutions will fuel your desires if that's what you want. But I'm into Meonics. Creating, developing, maturing sovereign love. Sovereign love, where we are the existence, the mind of God, the mind of love, before any God thing had rules, before the religious created their religiosity and all of their suffering, division. The starting point in so many religions is you are you, subservient to God, and you are not God, and you are to serve God. That's the starting point. I no longer accept any of their starting point. None at all. None of them. Have no God before you. Become the sovereign you, the sovereign lover, the lover that leads and leads love to be it. This is my message to you this day, and I love you. Let not your heart be troubled. If you believe in me, do the things I do and more. If you believe in me, you'll never die. If you believe in me, don't think I came to bring peace. Many will be divided about the message that I have just given you. They may be enraged. They may want to take me to a cliff and throw me off to silence this message, but it's in your heart already. There's a seed. The seed of you has never been extinguished. And it can't, because you are immortal. The seed, not limited by your DNA, but the seed of truth. Perfect truth. Perfect love. Complete freedom among the cosmos. Complete freedom, not even restricted, constricted, or conscripted by time, space, or gravity. My friend, there's a sovereignty of love. That utilizes language for us to begin to generate our own leadership, to mature, to come into the generation of our light body again that has never been separate. Some call it the Holy Spirit, separate from you or not. Wed your love. Love everybody. Love them all, even the despots, the anarchist. Friend, this earth is not subject to molecular force anymore. When you begin to know who's behind the veil. And when you begin to talk and commune with the love that's behind the veil that you think is God or you think is love, you begin to see a different story. And you see, in this little picture I'm holding up, you can look and say, oh, that's God. That's a he, she, or an it, binary or not. But God is overall, my friend. No. You see, the mind, it's all about who we are. The mind of all of creation is our mind. The double slit experiment, the teacup experiment. The teacup, take a picture of a teacup. Holographic film. Take the picture of the teacup. Cut it into 1,000 pieces. Project the picture. Project light through every one of those 1,000 pieces, and every one of them will show you the entire teacup. How can that be? There's more to the story. Do you understand the quantum world? No more entanglement of your electrons? Can you imagine going to school where everybody in school is determined to take down that veil? Because that veil doesn't exist. Oh, it does exist. It exists because we are the creator, and we have created it with the words, with the language. But now we have the language of love and leadership so that we're no more destroyed by law. We're no more destroyed for lack of knowledge. The knowledge of God is disseminated everywhere. The God of original love, light, peace, and joy. Not limited to this 3D world. How can you picture that which you can't even imagine? Step by step, day by day, conversation by conversation, picture by picture that takes the limits off of us. And 2 pictures that I end with now, trying to wrap it up, There's a new language to learn, a language of love that has a certain syntax, that uses certain phrases to help you go beyond the veil, to go beyond the Santa Claus story, to go beyond the story of the judgment of God, beyond the story of the lion's den, beyond the story of the fiery furnace. If you're willing, and this is what Meonics is about, the dress of light. You see, when the dress is complete, you realize this is you. You were the dressmaker. You are dressing the lover. And the lover and the dressmaker are the same one. There's no veil. Thank you for sharing your precious privilege, the preciousness of your time with me. Come behind the veil. Learn your power. Speak with your love and let your love teach. Beginning to write. Beginning to see through the veil. Not with your eyes, but your pen. Begin to see through the veil with your word. Because I am my word. And if you love me, you become me. If you become me, you begin to see you were me all the time. Now do all the things I did and more. The message, the messenger, without separation. I love you all. TheodoreCottingham.com. Theodore at Eureka at Gmail if you want to email me. Write me. I invite you to. I invite you to invite me. I'm willing. I'm willing to do new things with new people. I'm willing to come places I've never been before, to go places, to come where you are. You coming to Eureka? Oh, maybe I have a workshop here. Maybe I have a workshop in your city. Maybe you organize it. Maybe you have a group of friends who are ready for this message. Maybe you start a fellowship of one. Great. Crown you with love, not law. Crown you with love. And where shall the head of Christ be? No longer looking for a place to lay my head. Will my head be yours? Will you crown yours with mine? Or are we willing to lay down the veil and realize we are the same one? This is my prayer for you this day. Sovereign be. Meonics is the study of the real you. To be the real me, the real us. Taking the veil down by the rivets. So the framework of law and the framework of creation is no longer led by molecules, molecular faith, or the power of anything to spin me around its little finger. Okay, I go now. Thank you again. Love life. Don't die. Live love. Let love teach you. Be not afraid of your power. Be not afraid of the angry, the brutal, the guns, tanks, or bombs. We are creating our new creation, and the world we live in will no longer destroy us. Theodore Cottingham at gmail.com. I love you. Share these words. Share your love. And if you want to mature, let it flow. Don't be stagnant. Mull it over, ponder, and then let it flow. However you want to, however you feel to. Share with your friends. Share with the willing. Start a blog. Start a newsletter. Start an email list. Write a course. Write what you're learning. Write what you think of this lesson. Summarize this lesson. Record it. Re-record it. Transcribe it. Manna from heaven? You decide. Be led by your love. Let your love be free. Let freedom and love be the inextricable you to operate in your freedom this day. This is a school that operates like no other school. I love you. Be in school. This school. Your school. Our school. One school. One love. Sovereign. Be not afraid of your power. Take down the veils and see how beautiful you are. Till next time, tomorrow, love me. And who am I? I am every nation, tribe, and tongue who chooses to be the regal royal, the simple common, just like you and me. Good day. Thank you.